Okay, welcome to Navigate the Network. My name is Sharon Vogler, and I serve as Director for Alumni and MBA Career Development here in the School of Business. I've been with Wake Forest for about 12 and a half years, and I'm super excited to serve in this role where I focus on getting our School of Business alumni and our students in the same spaces and places to learn from each other. So thank you all for investing this 30 minutes with us. And I'm going to get started first by talking about our Wake Forest database, for lack of any other way to describe it. It's called the Wake Network, and I'm going to share my screen. And I want to make sure everybody can see my screen. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. So this is a space, a platform where you can find all Wake Foresters. And when I say all Wake Foresters, I mean every student that ever went to Wake Forest, School of Business, and all of our other colleges and the entire university ecosystem, all alumni, all staff is included in the Wake Network, including myself. I don't have a degree from Wake Forest, but I've worked here for 12 years, so I should have an honorary degree, I feel. But all staff, all faculty, and all friends of the university. And so we may work with an employer or some, local community members that have invested in some way, shape, or form in the Wake Forest, in helping Wake Forest in some kind of way. And so you can find these people in the Wake Network as well. And so I'm going to select a separate URL and show you the way that you get onto the Wake Network is just to Google it. If you haven't been on this platform, then the platform is going to ask you for some verification information. It's going to ask you for the last 4 digits of your Social Security number just one time so that we can verify that, yes, you are a part of the Wake Network and you get access to this database. With that being said, the Wake Network may not be as up to date with people's with their address, with their current titles, with the companies that they work for, because these profiles are updated by the profile owner. So if I were to change jobs or move locations, it's up to me to go into this database and update it. Okay, so there aren't any fairies behind the scenes here at Wake Forest scouring through LinkedIn to see all the latest and greatest job titles and physical moves that you've made. So I give this database about a 40%, maybe 45% accuracy rate. So we really use both the Wake Network and LinkedIn in conjunction with each other when we're trying to track down alumni. And so you may get into this this database and see some things even about your own self, your own profile, that might not be updated. But this is your public service announcement to update it now and to try and remember to update the Wake Network when any kind of changes happen in your lives, so that we can keep it as current as we possibly can. But it's a very robust system. And so when you land on the page, you'll see your profile. And you have the ability to make things public. Like I have my email address, right, is public. So anyone who lands on my page will be able to see this email address. They can also see my cell phone number. What they can't see, because I have it on lockdown, is my address and my birth date. And so you have the ability to decide what you want public and what you want private. But I pause here for just a moment to remind people that when you see an email address or a cell phone number or even a physical address, right? If you see that information is public, then that is a notification to you that they are open for you to reach out to them. So don't feel bad about using this database to email someone or even connect with them in very intentional ways, because that's a part of the Wake Forest mentality, right? We help each other. And so know that when you see those things, that it should send an indicator to you that they are open for you to reach out to them and hopefully learn something about their life or their jobs. And I'm just going to check my waiting room to make sure no one's waiting to get in. So again, that's your profile section. To search for people in the database, you come up to this selection and use this arrow down. And then there's an advanced directory search. You can search by first name, last name. You can, if you're interested in looking for all Wake Forest alumni in a particular city or at a particular employer, you can do these very easy searches. And so if I wanted to search for people who work for Microsoft, right? I can just select Microsoft and hit search. And it's going to curate a list for me. And this list is pretty long. I don't know how many people are on the list. I think it just served me up a few here. But I can see that these are the people in the database who currently work for Microsoft, or their profile says that they currently work for Microsoft. And you see that there are 5 deacon hats here. And those deacon hats are indicators of things that you have in common with that person, right? So if we're looking at Andrew's profile here, there are no deacon hats that are populated, or they're not black. I'm trying to see if I can see one on here that is black, but if one of them was populated, that means we have something in common. And you can hit this I for information and it'll tell you, I don't have anything in common with Andrew. But things that I could have in common with Andrew are, we have similar work. We work for the same company. We were in the same graduating class. We attended an event. We live in the same city. There are a lot of things that can attach, right, this similarity to other people. And so it can be super helpful. But let's say that we're really interested in talking and learning more about Sophia's job there at Microsoft. She's a senior customer success account manager. And I have access and I can see that Sophia, right, has an email list listed here. And I can also see that she lives in Clemens. So she's close to Winston-Salem, right? And so if I was looking for someone to be on a panel or speak to a current student about her job at Microsoft, then I would absolutely reach out to her and send her an email and try and get her to come to campus or participate in some kind of event for us. Okay. So again, you can search on employer, you can search on city, state. We want to go back. Hold on. There we go, search results. Here it is. It's a little clunky in the way if you're doing multiple searches, you have to make sure you go in and get rid of things and filters before you start a new search. But if you're really wanting to drill down, let's say you were a part of one of our MBA programs and you want to try and find all of your classmates, okay? You can go and select academic program. You can pick all business, you can pick undergraduate business, you can pick any of our pre-experienced master's programs. But let's say that you are in our MBA Winston-Salem evening program, and you're really looking for people who graduated in 2012. Whoops, 2012. A big list of everyone who graduated from our full-time program in 2012. Again, I have nothing in common with, oh, there's one. Jennifer Lee Kingsworth. I have something in common with her. And if I press this information button, it's going to tell me we have professional similarity. So we do something similar to one another. But we purposefully don't, you're not allowed, I guess you didn't say, to download a list out of the Wake network. We're very protective of the information that we have here, and they don't want people to do mass emails to people. And so you have access to this information, but only one profile at a time. So you have to look at each one of them. Any questions about these search filters? And if you're interested in a certain major, you can search by major. You can search by job skill and even like affinity group. So if you're a veteran and you want to connect with more Wake Forest veterans, you can pick this decorated Deeks affinity group, and it'll curate a list for you of all decorated Deeks. Super helpful. Any questions? Something in the chat. Oh, sorry, Sarah. I will get to your question when we finish. All right, so that's the Wake Network. Now I'm going to jump over to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a little bit more current in current job titles and geographic locations. I give LinkedIn about an 80% accuracy rate, which is a lot better than the Wake Network. But LinkedIn is such a powerful platform and one we use every day. So myself, Stacey Owen, Carrie Ross, we are in LinkedIn every day, all day. We need LinkedIn to do our jobs. And so that we're very active on the platform. But I have to remind myself that not everybody needs LinkedIn for their jobs. So they may not check LinkedIn. And they may not even access the database if they don't need it, right, for their jobs. They could have also created a profile way back when they were in college because they had to for a class, and they never updated their notifications or the email address that they used, and they're never checking those emails, right? So we get a lot of questions about, people ghosting them on LinkedIn. And I say that the remedy for feeling like you've been ghosted on LinkedIn is to use LinkedIn, send connection requests, send messages on LinkedIn, but also at the same time in conjunction, jump over to the Wake Network and see if you can find an email address. It might be a little bit more current, and then you would want to send them an email, because we know that people check their work emails almost every day. The second place they check is their personal email, like a personal Gmail. And then they might get around to checking LinkedIn. So keep that in mind as you're outreaching and using these platforms to, sometimes you have to try multiple things to get in contact with other people. And so I wanted to show you the way we find alumni on LinkedIn. I also get this question a lot about, do I need the premium subscription? And I say that it is helpful. It makes things a little bit easier for you, but I have found lots of workarounds without having the premium subscription level to be able to find alumni. LinkedIn wants your money. They are trying to monetize this data as much as they can. Every time I find a workaround without having the premium subscription level, they change something about their algorithms, and sometimes those things don't work any longer. But you can use it almost as effectively without the premium subscription, but it does make it a little bit easier. But I'm going to show you two different ways to find Wake Forest alumni. And the first way that I'm going to show you is to go to Wake Forest University, the school. And please note that there's a difference between the school and the group. And for this purpose, excuse me, we want to use the school, Wake Forest University. Now, please note, there's also a school of business, school, right? You can't see it all, but it says school, okay? There's also a group. To find alumni, you want to use the school. And I'm going to show you how to do this search, but know that you have to also go back and search the School of Business to find even more alumni. All right. There's reasons why people are in either Wake Forest University alumni and why some are in just Wake Forest University School of Business. And I'm not going to weigh us down with trying to get you to understand why, but just know you have to do this search on both separate schools. So you want to select the school's landing page. This is the main page here. And if you scroll down, you'll see an option here to select alumni. Once you select alumni, LinkedIn's going to do some work for you, right? It's going to tell you there's 56,207 alumni on LinkedIn that used Wake Forest University as their education or their employer. Okay. The reason this is different is because some people have used Wake Forest University School of Business as their education and not the main university. There's not a right or wrong. People have the option to do either one, so we can't control which bucket they're in, but it's my job to educate you on there's two buckets, right? There's Wake Forest University alumni, and there's another option for Wake Forest University School of Business alumni. And so knowing both will help you maximize, getting access to all of our alumni. But LinkedIn does an amazing job of going ahead and curating you a list of where they work, where they live, what they do, what they're skilled at, and what they studied. And guys, I really only use where they work and where they live. Okay. And once I hit that show more, hold on, right? Make sure you always select this show more, and it gives you the top 15 categories. Okay. And so you can see we have the most alumni after Wake Forest University at Wells Fargo. 381 alum work at Wells Fargo. Let's go back to that Microsoft example. Microsoft's not on this list, right? So if I was really interested in finding alumni that worked at Microsoft, I can add it. Microsoft. There's 50 alumni at Microsoft that used Wake Forest University as their school or their employer, and I can see where they live. Let's say I'm really interested in Seattle, Washington, and at any time you can always scroll down, and I can see these 5 people who went to Wake Forest, who work at Microsoft, and who live in Seattle. Okay, and you get to make the decision based off of this profile picture and what I call the headline right underneath their name on whether you want to connect with them or not. And I will tell you that when you hit that connect button, you want to always add a note. Okay. I do have the premium subscription level, so I get 300 characters. You don't have the premium level, you only get 200. So you want to keep it very short and sweet. You want to tell them how you're connected and why you want to connect. And it's, I'm a fellow Wake Forest alum, and I'm interested in learning more about your job at Microsoft. Or I'm a Wake Forest alum, I'm getting ready to move to Seattle, and I'm looking, right, to expand my network in the Seattle area. Short and sweet, no detail about you or, no invitation to coffee chat or informational interview or job referrals, none of those things. Okay. You want to keep this short and sweet. Okay. If you're interested in, let's say that you don't care where they live, but you really want to talk to a program manager, you're shooting for those types of jobs. There's 21 alums who work at Microsoft who have program manager somewhere on their profile. And again, if we scroll down, we can see all of these details about these fellow alums. Okay. Any questions about how to use this alumni search feature? Let's jump over to Wake Forest School of Business and let's look at the differences. Wake Forest Business. Nope, I don't want that. School of Business school. Remember, we want the school, not the group. We're going to talk about the groups in a second. But when we go to Wake Forest School of Business, we have 10,000. I do this a lot. That number changes a lot. 10,587. That's a different number, right? So we can see where they work and where they live. And then if we were really curious about Microsoft, there are 29, right? That's a different number than we saw before. And so some people are actually in both categories. And again, not going to get in the weeds about why that happens. But that's the most helpful way to find alumni. Any questions about those two searches? All right. Another way that you can find alumni is through some advanced filtering on My Network. So up on the top, these different products that they offer, you want to select My Network and manage My Network. And you can see I have 7,464 connections. I want to hit connection, and then I want to search with filters and then search with all filters. Okay, this is where the premium helps you. And so again, 7,300 results, and I can easily find people that I'm connected to. But let's say I'm trying to find people at Microsoft that I'm not connected to. I'll come into this filtering option, and I'll do it again for everyone so you can follow along. It's My Network, Manage My Network, Connections, Search with Filters, and then Search with All Filters. And it's going to give you a whole bunch of options here. So you want to select second and third connections because, again, I'm trying to find people I'm not connected to that work for Microsoft that went to Wake Forest. And so I can drill it down by location if I want to, but see the current company, you'll want to add Microsoft. Company. Okay, and then if you scroll down, you can do past company too if you want to, but now LinkedIn's helping me out here a little bit. I want to see Wake Forest University and Wake Forest School of Business alumni, okay? Show results. 66 results, okay? Again, I can continue to drill down. I can do program manager here. I can do recruiter. I can do all kinds of different keyword searches using this top search bar. But again, I can see how I'm connected to these people, what our mutual connections are. I can connect with them right here from this curated list. But again, I want to get into the habit of adding a note. Any questions about how to search using My Network?
So to get to that place, you went to My Network.
Manage My Network.
Okay, connections.
Search with filters.
Mm-hmm.
And then search with all filters.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, we have 3 groups that we want to make sure you're all a part of. Okay, these are private groups. So you have to ask to join these groups. And people that I know very well manage these groups. And they will accept your request to join, as long as they can determine that you should be in these private groups. But you want to follow those two schools. So you want to follow Wake Forest University and follow Wake Forest University School of Business. But you want to join these groups. Okay. The first one is Wake Forest School of Business. See how it says group? Once you select that, it's going to give, like, I'm in this group, but if you're not in the group, it's going to ask if you would like to join it. So you just select this join. But there's 8,000 members in this group, and we promote events and resources, and we promote like news, like when Wake Forest School of Business has made the news in some capacity. We also push jobs in this group. And so you want to join this group. My colleague, Carrie Ross and Stacy Owen, they manage this group. So I know that they're on top of it every day. We also have, so join this group. You also want to join Wake Forest Alumni Group. My colleagues over in the Alumni Office of Career and Personal Development manage this group. There's 22 members in this group. And so you want to join this one as well, even if you just went to the School of Business, because there are lots of programs that this department hosts that you are invited to. And so definitely join Wake Forest Alumni. You can send messages to people that you're not connected to, but you're in the same group. So another reason to join these groups. And then lastly, the one that I manage, that is Wake Forest Career Connectors, little hat. This is where we promote experienced hire jobs. Okay. So if somebody sends me an email or sends me a LinkedIn request saying, can you promote this to Wake Forest alumni? I'm going to push all of those jobs into this group. I'm also, depending on the job, going to repost it in Wake Forest Alumni and Wake Forest School of Business. You could see it multiple times. I encourage you all to also post jobs in this group, right? So once you request to join, I'll accept it. I encourage everyone to be active in these groups because that's where all the magic happens, right? When engagement happens and we use these groups intentionally, lots of fun things happen that help each other out so intentionally. Any questions? I want you all to connect with me on LinkedIn and make sure you get into the habit of adding a note. Tell me if you got anything out of this, or if you have tips or tricks in LinkedIn that you know work. I'd love to hear about those as well. But that's all I have for today. I think I kept us right at 12:30 on the dot. I can stay around for another couple of minutes. If anyone has any questions, I would absolutely love to field those for you.
Thank you, Sharon. I sent you a note in the chat, but
Yes.
I know there's like office hours as well. What is the best way to
Yes.
schedule time with you or
Great.
someone?
Yes, thanks for reminding me of the note that you put in there. I take office hours 2 times a month. You can find them on our alumni events page off of our website. Those sessions are called The Coach is In. I do them 2 times a month. And so they go pretty quickly. Well, I say pretty quickly. They usually fill up by the time the event rolls around. I know as of yesterday, I had 1 spot left for the 10th, which is the next one. But if we push out to like the 22nd, I think, I can't remember exactly when the second one in October is, there should be some availability on that event.
Okay. Yeah, I remember looking and I feel like it was all full. I don't remember which one it was. Okay, so click on the attend button and then it'll show which sessions might have an opening.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have any questions? All right. Here's a question. Zoom link. If you'd share the recording, I'd be grateful. Okay, Ashby, could you put Ashby? We will make sure we send the recording out to everyone who registered for the event. Does that work? All right, great. Everyone have a great day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.